I should pull it up a bit so it's so if I sound like I'm separating from this, it's because I am. Because this normally isn't in this house. Usually we stand apart here and we do a welcome. So I would like to say welcome to each and every one of you for being here. This is fabulous. This is better than what I've ever dreamed of. And I would like to give acknowledgement to the territory that we are on. This is the Songhees, and the Esquimalt Coast territory. And I, myself, I am from Swiaman. I'm married into the Snuneymuxw band. That's very vital in that for my family and that to acknowledge, like where I'm from. So, I'd like to introduce you to a fellow who has been through a lot of ceremonies with us, and he has given the history. He carries the history and the responsibilities of this house, and so I'd like to introduce you to George.
Good evening. My name is George Connolly. I am the caretaker of this big house. This house is presently owned by Chief Peter Knox. Peter Knox is the grandson of Mungo Martin. So this house does not belong to the museum, it belongs to the Martin family. All the poles you see here in Thunderbird Park were carved by Mungo Martin in the early 1950s. He was actually an employee of the museum. While he was carving, basically the poles came from all over BC. His job was to carve replicas of the original poles. So a lot of the poles you see here are mainly northern poles. So while he was employed, he wanted to build a big house similar to one that stood in Port Rupert well over 100 years ago. So this is the actual house. But this house is 1/6 scale of the original house. Mungo Martin was Quaggill from Port Rupert and Guilford Island. Because he wasn't from this territory, before he could build this house, he had to ask the Coast Sales people for their permission to build this house in his area on their territory. So this is the reason why we have a Quaggill house and the Coast Sales service, because they allowed him to build it here. I speak on behalf of Peter Knox, who said he's the owner. Mungo Martin not only was a carver, he was actually a chief who owned rights, privileges, songs, and dances. When he passed away, all those rights and privileges went to Peter. So in our culture, when you pass away, you don't take anything with you. They're handed down to the next generation. Part of what was handed to Peter was this house. So this house will always stay with the family. Often called the Mungo Martin house, but when Mungo built this house, the name he gave it was Wawajikwa, and the translation in Kwakwala is the door was open and you walk by, the owner would actually run out there and grab you and move you inside here. That's basically what the translation of that means.